Okay, so I want to talk about positive versus negative stereotyping. There's this idea that only negative stereotypes are bad. People who are aware at all of race issues or discrimination in any form know that to have negative stereotypes can be damaging to the individual and to the group, to any progress that they make. But I also want to talk about how positive stereotypes are bad too. People act as though it's okay to have a stereotype as long as it is a quote unquote good stereotype um, that maybe has a positive attribute, whether that's physical or mental or emotional or talent wise. I'm trying to keep this very broad because this applies to racial stereotypes, this applies to ethnic stereotypes, gender stereotypes, um, sexual orientation, stereotypes, anything you can think of. The problems with having quote unquote positive stereotypes is that it can create unrealistic expectations for that person as an individual, just like it can be damaging to have a negative stereotype about someone. Um, because that person will feel less about themselves because they're part of this group associated with this negative stereotype. Can also work with a positive stereotype. Um, let me use as an example something maybe from my own. I'm a woman. I'm a Jewish woman. So Jews, a positive stereotype, quote unquote, about Jews is either they have a lot of money or they're good with money. Being someone who grew up not with a whole lot of money, who certainly doesn't have a whole lot of money now, this stereotype is harmful to me because it gives people the impression that I have money when I don't. Um, it can also be make you feel like I'm less a part of the group. Like, am I less Jewish because I'm a Jew who doesn't have any money, or something like that. So these are the things you have to kind of be like aware of. Be like, oh, well, it's a good thing, that people have money. It's like, well, not necessarily because of not everybody does, and you're putting people into a specific category that not everybody falls into. Um, I think also, when you define a group by its stereotypes, it makes it makes it a lot more fallible because the group is then not resting on shared interests or goals or beliefs or whatever, but the group is basically comprised of individuals who are banding together because people have these preconceived notions about them, which is very superficial and unfortunate. Um, I know that stereotypes about women have frustrated me a good portion of my life. Um, Both the ways in which I fall within those perceived like gender norms or stereotypes, and also the ways that I don't fall into those ideas. So I think we have to be careful, and this happens a lot with race. I know people will be like, oh, oh, you're black, you know how to dance. That's a common stereotype. Well, then what you're basically saying is if you are black and you can't dance, maybe you're less black or something like that, something offensive on those lines. But then also, if you're black and you can dance, what, you can only dance because you're black? That doesn't seem right or fair. What if you've taken lots of dance classes, or you've been dancing since you were little, or it's a passion of yours, or whatever? But then also the converse of that can be dangerous because then it's implying that people who aren't black can't dance, or maybe it's harder for them to dance, or if they do dance, they're somehow now black. Um, so you see, there's kind of like can be these problems, um, creating these kind of like false absolutes. So that's my 2 cents on stereotypes. Just be careful of them when you're using them about anybody, race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, etc., etc. Um, because they can be harmful even in ways that you wouldn't necessarily think about right away. So that's it for now. Hope everyone is well. Love and peace.